So I've got Joseph Bradley here with me in the studio. Joseph, thank you for being here.
And thank you very much. Great place to be in Barcelona.
Yes, it's a fabulous city, isn't it?
I'm loving it every day.
Great. So Joseph is the Global Vice President, Customer Experience of Incubation Services and Technology. Well, that sounds pretty fancy. Could you tell us more about what do you do?
So basically, Liz and Tony had a great presentation on IoT.
Yeah.
And she really runs the product side of the business. I represent IoT on the customer experience side, so really the services side of IoT.
Nice.
Yeah.
Joseph, how would you, explain maybe artificial intelligence in the future, right? So like if we talk about the future of IT, I think artificial intelligence is like this big buzzword. Everybody's like, yeah, we're doing it, but no one really knows like what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of a role would that play in IoT?
Yeah, well, so artificial intelligence is going to play a huge role. It's going to really help us in terms of automating the network and automating a lot of functions. So we just did a global IT readiness survey, and we interviewed about 1,500 respondents, 7 different countries. One of the things that came out loud and clear, 42% said that AI will be the most disruptive technology they can see in the next 12 months. So there's a lot of investment happening there. And when you look at where they've currently invested in AI or where they plan to invest in AI over the next 12 months, 89% said they're going there. So you see a lot of talk around AI, mainly around automation from an IT management perspective.
Nice. Well, Joseph, so I've been to the World Summit AI. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's in Amsterdam. It was in October.
Yeah.
It was an amazing event. I really loved it. What I found interesting was this discussion on the biases, right? So how, obviously, when you analyze so much data and you teach the algorithms to, kind of analyze it and learn it by themselves, like this data obviously creates biases.
Yes.
So is it something that you would be cautious of as well? Like what's your take on that?
Yeah, so the reality is we as humans, we have biases. So it's really, really important that we recognize that. So when you think about AI, it's so important to make sure that you're asking the critical questions, right? What happens when AI goes wrong? When has it made a bad decision? You got to make sure you take away the black box and we understand what's behind it. The second thing that we got to do, we talk a lot about this at Cisco, is you got to have inclusion and diversity, meaning the people that are building the AI, the coders, the technologists, you want to make sure that they're a diverse representation of people, because if not, you will embed bias in the coding. And it's so hard to get bias out when we're talking as humans. Can you imagine how hard it's going to be once it's encoded in the system? But all in all, I think if you focus on inclusion and diversity, ensuring that those that are coding AI are diverse, and then we always remember to ask the critical questions. What is it being used for, and when has it made a bad decision, so that we understand it can remove the black box, we'll be fine.
Right, yes. Well, you sound really positive about it. That's
Absolutely.
great. I love that. So, well, could you give me like an example of one of the customers of yours that's been transforming their business with AI and IoT and how Cisco actually helped them, right? Because I think it sounds all fancy and great, but how does it actually apply in the real use cases in the real business?
Yeah, so really what it really applies to is in really two areas. First thing is you think about condition monitoring. So every customer basically, when it talks about IoT, they want to know 3 things. Tell me where my asset is, tell me how is it doing today, and how will it be operating in the future. AI at the edge is so important in doing that because it allows us to take all this information, like we did with departments of transportations around the world, and be able to say, hey, given the current weather conditions, these are the actions you need to take to make the roads safer. These are the actions you need to take to protect people out who are working on those roads. So AI really helps in understanding, again, the current condition of an asset. The second thing that AI helps us is in really being able to understand what's happening in the network, being able to troubleshoot and figure out where there's a problem. From the IT management side, that is huge, because we have a huge shortage of talent in the world today, and the only way we're going to be able to meet the demand is to be able to rely on AI to drive productivity and efficiency.
Right. And what's your take on security in IoT and AI, right? Because I've got a lot of my customers are, for example, industrial customers as well, container terminals, and security is a hot topic, right? As
Yes.
much as they want to go the IoT route,
Yes.
they are very cautious as well.
Yes. So security and IoT, critically important, hands down. But I think we got to expand our definition. So why do you secure things in IoT? Why do you secure data? Because you believe data is valuable. Why is data valuable? Well, because you assume that it is correct. That is
Yes.
a critical assumption. In IoT, when we say security, we're first talking about data integrity. If you're driving an autonomous vehicle, it can be secure, but you want to make sure that that data is right. If it says that sign is 10 feet, you don't want that sign to be 9 feet. You want it to be 10 feet. So when we talk about security, we're talking about ensuring that the data is correct and also ensuring that it is also protected from malware and other criminal activities.
Sounds great. Sounds great. And I think AI will also go the security way, so right?
Absolutely.
That will also,
AI will be huge in helping us deter potential security attacks. And also, AI is very helpful in us making sure that we understand that the data as it flows from point to point has not been changed, that it is still remains the correct and has a high degree of integrity. So we're very excited about all the implications and really the value that AI can bring to us in the future.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
And maybe back a bit to the AI topic, because I really find it extremely interesting. I remember Cassie Kozyrkov, so she's like a chief data scientist at Google, right? At World Summit AI, when she was giving her speech. I found it extremely interesting what she said. She said, most of AI projects fail, not because of the algorithms, because of the data, or other technical aspects. It's more of understanding, are we solving the right problem?
Correct.
Because a lot of companies spend so much money on solving the wrong problem, right?
Correct.
So what would you comment on that, right? How do you tackle that with your customers?
Yeah, so I mean, I wrote a book called Questioneering, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I just wrote a book called Questioneering, which basically says, in the world today, the world was filled with all these answers, value is found in not changing your answers, but in fundamentally changing your questions. If you just think about it, the question that you ask sets you up for the target you want to achieve. If you're trying to hit a target to the right, but you're aiming over to the left, you're never going to hit it. And the world is full of those examples. You can think of Marvel Comics. Spent years trying to do what? How do we sell more comic books? Then they changed this question slightly and said, well, how do we drive greater entertainment value of our assets? One way, they were going bankrupt. The next way, they're bought by Disney, $5 billion. Why? Because they created movies. They took their content and created movies. What changed? People didn't change. What changed? The basic question that they were asking.
I love that. So can I get your book at the Cisco store? Because the Cisco store is right here.
Cisco store, Amazon, either way, Questioneering.
Great, sounds good. I'm gonna look it up. Well, I think what you're saying essentially is that it's also Cisco's responsibility as we speak to our customers, right? Because I work in sales. So as we speak to our customers, it's important to ask the right questions.
Very important.
Right?
Very important.
So in anything we do, whether it's AI related or any other technology, it's really what do we want to essentially achieve. Not just trying to solve a problem because it's there, but like actually questioning why do we have this problem? Why did we even end up there? What's the root cause, right?
Absolutely. It's not what you don't know that caused you to fail, but what you believe to be true. And that's why it's so important to make sure you're fundamentally challenging your core beliefs and asking high value questions.
Yes, sounds great. Sounds great. So what do you like so far at Cisco Live?
Man, I really like the people interaction. The energy, the people are great, so much excitement. Gotta love DevNet, gotta love the technology, but at the end of the day, it's all about people.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And did you enjoy the keynote yesterday?
Oh, absolutely, it was great.
Yeah, I think it's really great. I really love how the customers are so excited, right? So it's really like seeing that excitement in customers' eyes, like, wow, this new technology is great. I've done this lab. It's really nice.
Yeah, you can see it. We're really making that transition from proof of concepts to value and realization and reality, right? You can see it, you can feel it in the air. It's a great place to be, great time to be at Cisco.
Yes, indeed. And I also saw that we had quite a number of partners that are also doing a lot of IoT things and using our DevNet for even AI development, machine learning, right? So we have software development kits on DevNet.
Absolutely.
For machine learning. Could you explain, what are the most exciting things our partners do now in IoT?
With IoT, as we figured out, we learned, IoT is not about a set of tools, it's about a life cycle. And so when you think about from adopt to renew, our partners are playing in all types, in all areas of that life cycle. So from everything from helping us connect devices, to building connectors, to helping us extract the data, to helping us move the data, direct it to where we want it to be, is it on-prem, is it cloud-based, to helping us drive algorithms to help edge analytics and cloud analytics. So our partners are really playing in all aspects of the full life cycle of IoT.
Right. And could you like maybe name a few customers or like say a nice use case that you worked on recently that made you extremely enthusiastic?
Oh yeah, several. So I don't know if no, unfortunately most of our customers won't allow us to use their names
yes,
yet.
Of course, yes.
But
I know that.
I can tell you right now, we had some incredible projects with a very large utility where we've been really looking at how do we embed millions of devices in their fan network, how do we connect those devices, how do we deploy true edge analytics. I've already mentioned about Department of Transportation, how exciting that is. I can tell you there's a very, very large government contractor where we're looking at how are we able to determine and monitor the assets. They have well over 100,000 of these machines. They want to know where they are, they want to know how they're currently operating and how they operate in the future. We're so excited about that. We got a very large German company we're working with right now to deploy IoT and predictive analytics to help them move from being a product company selling the actual machines to how can they sell insights. So that's just like 4 or 5.
And having a German customer is not easy, I can tell you that, right?
That's right?
In terms of data, because I work in security, there's always a lot of questions about data and security.
It just shows you again the power of what happens when you bring one Cisco between our engineering teams, our service teams, CMS, all coming together to drive value in IoT. It's great.
Great, sounds fantastic.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I think you really paint a great picture, and I think it really shows how Cisco is so well positioned to deliver on IoT vision and strategy that we have, because we have the data center, right?
Yes.
We are decentralizing it, so it's really like data center anywhere, your data anywhere.
Yes.
And that contributes a lot to IoT, right?
Yes.
And then, of course, the intent-based networking. So we've got the intent-based networking, intent-based data center, and we've got this layer of security that spans the full infrastructure. So I think Cisco is really well positioned in the IoT space at this point.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
Oh, completely agree. Completely agree. The work that we've done in our IT readiness index, it showed that 93% of everyone that we talked about, that we interviewed, said, hey, they want to move within the next 2 years beyond reactive towards preemptive. So AI, automation, IoT is top of mind.
Sounds great.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for being here. It was really a pleasure, and I think it was really great minutes to hear you speak about all the latest innovation. Sounds great.
Love to be here.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.